If you want to make people do a double take on the road or pass like literally everybody on the freeway, the 2023 Kia EV6 GT is the car for you. It is definitely built for the car enthusiast, the performance obsessed. Today we're looking at the GT in Snow White Pearl, and right behind me we have Runway Red, aka Runaway Red, because you absolutely could run away from some people, if you know what I'm saying. They have a starting MSRP of $61,600. The GT is powered by dual electric motors, so it is only available in all-wheel drive. It's also important to note that this is going to be more horsepower than the dual motors in the trims below it. So you'll be getting 576 horsepower, which is a little bit mind-blowing. Like, that's crazy to me. You'll have 545 pound-feet of torque, and Kia is rating the 0 to 60 at 3.4 seconds, which is insane. However, other automotive journalists have been able to clock this even as low as 3.2. You do have 4 drive modes. You get Eco, Sport, Normal, and your GT mode. Now your GT mode is going to lend you access to that full 576 horsepower, so you can get like a little bit more range, obviously, when you go into Eco or Normal, even Sport. There are 5 levels of regen braking, all the way from strictly coasting to pure one-pedal driving. You are capable of towing up to 2,300 pounds, and then a few little mechanical upgrades that the GT has is an electronic rear limited slip diff, as well as electronically controlled suspension. It is going to feel slightly more of a rigid ride in comparison to the other trims, but not by much. It's still incredibly comfortable. The back roads that we took up here were still very smooth. Definitely don't have to worry about spilling your coffee. Now, if this is your first EV6 video you've literally ever watched, we're just gonna show you what they consider to be the Frunk. It is incredibly limited. It's really only meant to fit your level 2 charger if you decide to purchase that separately. This trim does have exclusive GT body styling, so you'll easily be able to tell the difference between the GT and the Wind. But from the front, the GT line and this GT have a lot of resemblance. And then moving around the side, you will have body colored wheel arches, and then moving on down, you will have larger 21-inch wheels. Those are wrapped in summer performance tires. And then obviously super noticeable, the neon green brake calipers that are exclusive to the GT. It has a completely hands-free locking and unlocking feature, so I never need to have my keys to unlock or lock my car. And then it does feature the nice flush door handles, which I don't know if you've seen the videos on social media. This is probably happening in Australia, where giant spiders hide underneath your door handles. That's not gonna happen with this car. And then I'll walk away and the car will absolutely lock itself. This also has a smart park feature, so all you gotta do is turn on your car with your key fob, and I can move it in and out of a parking space. This is gonna make it a lot easier to get in and out of a tight spot so that I don't have to try to squeeze my way, in a tight spot. And then to show you, this is how it goes backwards. It just takes it a second. Before we get into charging, this does have the larger 77.4 kilowatt battery pack. However, it does have less range than that max 310 miles of range. It's reduced down to 206. It's also absolutely worth it for that serotonin boost that you're gonna get when you're driving it. And just to put it into perspective, because the car is getting some hate for having only 206 miles of range, it's actually a lot. I have a significantly long commute to work, 60 miles one way. I could get to work, charge my car, and then drive home. I would never even actually have to charge it at home. So just think about your commute in that way. Think of ways that you can maybe charge at the grocery store super fast while you're doing errands like that. So your charge port door is located right on the back. It opens up nice and smoothly. All of these charging times are going to be rated from 20% to 80% charge. So with a level 2 charger, it's going to take just over 7 hours. If you have the 50 kilowatt DC fast charger, you can charge in as quickly as 73 minutes. Or if you can find that unicorn 350 kilowatt DC fast charger, you're in and out in 18 minutes. And this does still feature the vehicle to load, which allows you to charge or power other electronic devices. From the back is where you're gonna notice a lot more differences, especially the one thing that you can look at is these reflectors here are vertical. On every other trim, it's horizontal. So you also have this nice brake light that goes all the way across. Your spoiler is gonna be the same across all trims. You do have a GT badge right there on the right as well. And that's hardly a G, but that's just like, this is hardly an I and an A. That's just it looks like an N, a backwards N. Anyways, you can access your trunk right there. You can also have a power liftgate from your key fob. And then when you open it up, you'll have just over 3 feet deep to right behind that second row. And it's like 3.5, almost 4 feet wide. And then just from like this part to there, it's like a little bit less than 2 feet high. So slightly more effective numbers than cubic feet. You can fit a lot back here. It's got a lot of room. I also love that you can drop the second row just from the back. You just pull those little levers right here. This is like such a simple way to do that. You don't have to go all the way around to the passenger side to do it, which I have like this weird little pet peeve of having to do that. Sitting in the second row, this driver's seat is currently adjusted for like the average height of between like 5'9", 6 feet in between there. And you can see I've got a lot of legroom. If this seat was adjusted all the way forward, I'd have a grand total of 39 inches of legroom. So quite cozy back here if you are a lot taller than me. And I also have a lot more headroom to spare as well. These seats, your outboard seats, are heated. They're also reclining. And then in the middle, you have a little armrest and then some cup holders, but you can retract the cup holders, and that's where I've hidden my cell phone. So that's kind of a little fun feature there. Also, your heated seat features, you have 2 different levels of heat. That's right here on your door. You also have 2 USB-C charging ports. Sitting inside the GT, the biggest differences are going to be these GT bucket seats that have the coordinating neon green stitching, as well as this flat bottom heated leather wrapped steering wheel. I want to mention that these seats are totally manual, which potentially unpopular opinion, I strongly prefer manual seats over powered seats because I can adjust this like so quickly as opposed to the power ones that you're just ever so slightly awkwardly moving backwards to adjust it. So cool thing. Getting into this steering wheel situation, you have your drive mode buttons, so that's how you'll get to all those different drive modes. You can press and hold, you press this GT button to get into GT mode, and then there's a secret drift mode that you can get into as well. So you press this GT button and then you turn off your traction control, you press both paddles back towards you for like 3 seconds, boom, drift mode. So that's not that big of a secret, but still really good to know. Then moving over to your center console here. So obviously you have same gear selection puck as normal for the EV6. You also have a button here that this is a great way to turn off the annoying beep when you're getting close to something. If you don't want your parking sensors just raging at you. You have auto hold, which can come in handy for really long red lights. You also can access your camera from this button here on the left. So you have your heated seats controls right here, 3 different levels for both seats. You also have your heated steering wheel there. You do have wireless charging, but you don't have wireless connectivity. As you can see, I have my phone connected to access Apple CarPlay. So like, just put wireless Apple CarPlay in the car, you know? Conveniently located cup holders here. There's another funny little pocket right here that fits your key perfectly. Significant amount of storage in your center console as well, right underneath this very cozy armrest. And then you have even more storage down underneath here, and it's nice because it has walls. So if you wanted to like put a bag or something down here, you don't have to worry about it like flying out and then maybe getting to an unsafe spot under your feet. And then right in front of that, you have a 12-volt power source, USB-C charging, another USB-C charging port, and then a standard USB connection right there. That's how you're gonna get your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And of course, it comes standard with Kia DriveWise driver assist technology, which is gonna give you some pretty cool features like auto emergency braking, blind spot detection, you get rear cross traffic collision avoidance, and even smart cruise control. A unique feature in the GT is variable gear ratio steering. So what that essentially does is adjust the steering response based off of your speed, sort of, kind of. Basically, the way you're gonna feel that is how it adjusts the feedback of the steering wheel when you're making a turn at any given speed. Some fun facts about the windshield is it's sound absorbing, as well as both front door glass is also sound absorbing. That's gonna create a nice quiet ride when you're on the road. Also, it's solar control, so that's gonna reduce that greenhouse effect that tends to happen when your car's been sitting outside. Maybe the sun's beating down into it. So it's gonna prevent all of that heat buildup that can happen. So when you get in your car, you're not like dying of heat. You also have a standard moonroof. Second unpopular opinion, love the climate control and radio controls on just in literally every new Kia. They're all this way. It's not hard. There you go, now I'm ready to adjust my music, or boom, now I'm ready to adjust my climate controls. You have a grand total of 24 inches of display here between your gauge cluster and your infotainment system. And starting with your gauge cluster, down here in the left-hand corner is where you're gonna see your level of regen. We're currently at level 1. You just bump your left paddle to go to level 2, level 3. Now I have my I pedal, which is like full 1 pedal driving, and then you just reduce your regen braking with the right paddle. When you switch your drive modes, the theme can switch along with that. I'll also show you in a second. There's a setting that you can leave it fixed on a specific drive mode. That's your GT mode. This is the mode that you're gonna always wanna be in. And then moving over to your infotainment system. So here you can see we've got Apple CarPlay, and then moving right back into your Kia settings here. So let's give you a little tour with the camera. So you can see you have the full panoramic view here that shows the car. I do wish that this looked more like the GT specifically, rather than just like a generic EV6. And then you can pop that window out to see even different, angles of the car. And then going into, you have some really cool settings and stuff up in here. So let's go into vehicle. I want to show you guys some cool things. So here's all of your driver's assistance. This is how you can either turn them off or adjust them. You can also go into your active sound design and change how the sound is being fed into the cabin. So this is, we're not gonna hear anything right now when we're in park, but you can just like literally change how you hear things or turn it completely off, which honestly, that's what I prefer, but if you like a little bit of white noise, then that's cool. And when you go into your advanced settings, you can literally change the tune. Like Cyber just straight up sounds like a spaceship on the inside, which is kind of interesting. And Cyber and Stylish actually sounded really similar. And then you can also go into dynamic. So each of those are just 3 different like sound. So you can also just have that turned off. Also change your cluster theme so that it's either set to switch with the drive modes, or you can have it set to like a specific theme. So if I wanted to leave it to be like red in sport mode or something, that would be theme B, just so that it gives you just something fun to look at. So when I switch my drive modes now, it's just gonna stay at theme B. It won't actually change my gauge cluster there. And then going back, you do have an augmented reality heads-up display. I strongly prefer mine to be off because I find it to be a little bit distracting. Super easy to turn off right there. You can have standard mode or the augmented reality, which is also going to give you turn-by-turn directions right in front of you. So as long as you have navigation running. You have really awesome ambient lighting that you can see here right across the dash. It's also in your doors as well. So this is super cool to change. You can have it be linked to your drive mode. So currently in GT mode, so it's green, it coordinates with that. If I go into normal, it's a deep blue. Sport, it turns red, and then eco will be a lighter blue color. The only way that I know how to wrap this up is I love my car. I have a Golf TDI and I feel like it's a unicorn. I love it, super fun to drive. Of all of the cars that I get to test for this channel, this is literally the only car that I would ever consider getting rid of my Golf for. Even the other Golf R, like this car has my heart. I just don't have the wallet for it. So big shout out to Capital Kia. Seriously, thank you so much for letting me take this car out today. You have made my whole month. If you have any further questions, drop them in the comment section below. Bye.